What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Winners Brunch. This is episode 1. My name is Jade, and here co-hosting with me is Edwin Jack.
What's going on? What's going on?
All right, to start things off, first things first, how are you doing today?
Pretty chill, man. I think the week went pretty well. I got a chance to get a little bit of work and partying done at the same time. So feeling good. You know, a little bit more to look up for the week, man. How you doing? How's your week?
So far, so good. I cannot complain at all. Everything is kind of falling into place. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like, when you set your goals and you're actually starting to see them pan out, I think that's the best feeling ever.
Oh, true, 100%. Like, one of the people I was talking to this old lady in Subway, and because I just started going to Subway again, and she was like, the best thing is when you aim for something big and you actually accomplish it. She caught like a stroke, so like her whole left side of her body was like done,
wow,
right?
That's amazing.
And then she basically her goal was to reuse her arm again. So, like, she was going through all these, like, therapies and stuff like that. And she didn't know that I was going to take everything because it's something we do every day. So, she's like, I had to teach her how to move her shoulder first, then her arm, her elbow. Then that's the hardest part was, like, her wrist and to clench the drink. So, her biggest goal was to be able to drink with her left arm again. And now she's back at it. So, that kind of, like, inspired me for my week last week.
Well, that's really inspiring as well. For our viewers out there, like, what would you recommend them when it comes to, like, achieving a goal? Like, how do they go about doing that?
I think it breaks down to so much things. Like, first, what is the goal? Like, is this something that's out your reach, or you set up your bar too low? I think there's a saying, it's like the biggest travesty is aiming for something low and actually accomplishing it. So how are you going to feel when you actually accomplish that goal? Is that like are you going to feel like amazing? Or are you like, oh, yeah, 16 other people did it. So I think first have a goal that's out there. Then there's so much different things that break it down, like SWOT or is it SMART goals? Be specific with it, you know, find a certain time you want to have it done by. If it's a home, how much does that home actually cost? Then M is like measurable, right? Can you measure how are you moving further away? Are you getting closer to it? A, I believe, is attainable, right? Is this something that actually can be attained? Not like, oh, no one has done it before, no one else can ever do it. It's just like, has someone else done it so you can copy their systems so you can do it too? R was, is it realistic? All right, and also for rewarding yourself whenever you reach it. And T is it tangible? Is it something you can actually touch? You know. So I think once you got that, follow those guidelines, which everybody knows since like the beginning of time, you'll be able to like set the right goals. You know.
Okay, so great. So speaking of like setting and like accomplishing goals, you've actually accomplished a big one, and that was starting a business. What is your business, and like, what do you do?
Well, the crazy thing is like starting a business is pretty simple. I think a lot of times people overcomplicate it. They think like to have a business, you gotta have all this money behind you and things like that. No, you just have a great idea and you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, you're gonna get there. I think you can make a business out of everything. So what I do right now, I have a couple. My biggest one, my larger my income, is really for my marketing office, where I do a straight direct marketing face to face, like old school style, getting people to like you, right? Conversing. I think nowadays we're running away from that because of the Twitters, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Tumblr, YouTube, like all these cool things of social media. We're so involved into our phones that we don't know how to do this anymore. And I think that's a skill set that is going to be very valuable. So I teach that because in business, nothing can take this away. No matter what text, how much words come in it, no matter what kind of video you can send, this is a feeling that is never going to go away to get people to see your way of thinking and win. So I do a business like that where I do it for Fortune 500 companies.
Okay, great. And so speaking of like getting people to be able to like you and like maybe invest in you that way, like what are like 3 simple tips that could like actually boost your persona and how you come across? I
think first thing first is how's your image coming across? Like I try to make sure that I have an image that is universal, that I could appeal to all different nationalities, religions, ethnicities, income brackets. So I have like both of my ears pierced, but I wouldn't be wearing my ears pierced if I'm meeting with a client or my earrings in. I have a lot of chains. I don't wear it in business settings. I'm usually dressed up to the nines, like suit and tie and everything like that, just to make sure that I'm not doing anything that puts people off, right? So the first thing is your image, right? And if you have a beard, it's the cleanest that you can make that big beard. You know, if your goal is to have dreadlocks, is your dreads new, like, are you getting a retwist? Is there like a lot of new growth there? Like, do you look like you want to look? If your hair is supposed to be curly, is it the curls the way that you want it to have? I think one of the biggest things was a guy named Eazy-E, who's a rapper. He just passed away, rest in peace. They were saying that he wore a Jerry curl, but it was to the T of where he wanted his hair to be. Everything was the way he wanted it to be. So I think number one is your image. Number two, to actually getting like people to invest in you is, do you have a system that's replaceable? Have you created that infrastructure system of how it's going to work step by step, and how the money will be coming in? When the money comes in, what percentage of it goes back into your business? What percentage is for you, your payment? And what position are you going to pay everybody else in if you have employees for it? If it's just you, where's the money coming and going, right? How's the mentality work behind the business? What's the system? What's the infrastructure? And number three is, can you get other people to buy into you? You know, can you break it down to simple terms to where someone who's doesn't have master's degrees can still understand how your business works, and they could do it too. And someone who's super smart can understand it too, like it's, like cheese and bread, So I think having an idea that's simple and you convey it is the best way.
Okay, great. And so, like, for people that want to start a business but don't know where to start, what's your advice for them?
Find your passion. Like me, my passion is people. Like, I'm that weirdo who still goes back on Facebook to see the people I graduated in high school. Like, what are they doing now? Hey, congratulations. I love people. I love learning people's stories. I love learning what got people to here in front of me. So I love that. So my passion is people. So that's why I work in a build people business, where I can develop and create future people like myself, right? Entrepreneurs. But I find your passion. So if your passion is what's your passion?
For me, it's like film, photography, anything makeup, beauty related. Like, I love that stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think you'll find that. And when you find your passion, you're going to want to get better at it, better and better. You're going to find different people who are better. You're going to see what they do. You're going to try it out yourself, and you're going to add it to you, something you're not going to add. And you're just going to want to keep getting better at your craft. So naturally, when you get better and better at your craft, you come up with your own swagger on how to do it that works, that's very appealing, because you know the basic foundations of things. Like if we look at LeBron, like basketball is the same thing. You dribble, there's fouls, there's traveling. He knows that system, but when he figured out that system, he was able to put his own style of dunk, his own style of running his offense once he learned the basics. So once you learn the basics, you can add your own swagger to it, and then you can monetize it. Now, let's say you get amazing at makeup, like doing it, right? You figure out a way to contour the nose to make it look like the way you want it to look like. People are going to gravitate to it. They're like, whoa, I like the way she does that. Can I do it like her? They're going to ask you to teach them. There might be people like, hey, can you come up with your own brand that makes it work better? And you're going to see money kind of comes to you just by getting better at your passion and your hobbies. So even if you're collecting stamps, I think that'd be the same way. Collect the most unique ones, get better at that, find the harder ones. When stamps are like 2 cents or something, like find that. And if people are going to want to buy those things, because people have some similar passions sometimes, and you'll find your niche market.
That's kind of similar to a saying. I don't remember who said it, but my teacher, she used to preach it all the time. It's like, learn all the rules so that you can break them.
True.
Yeah, so like that way you're able to put your own spin on it. That way you're able to like kind of like make it into something that's brand new, or kind of reinvent it, because like I think we all try to like reinvent the wheel when it comes to like coming up with an idea and really trying to like make a business out of it. But it's really not that hard. I think when it comes to like abundance as well, we live in a scarcity mindset. So like, for somebody that wants like a hair company, like, well, there's like maybe like 500,000 other hair companies, but you just need to find that one thing that makes it unique, and you can compete and go in with that mindset, that's saying that like they got it, so I should be able to get it too.
1,000%.
There's plenty of to go around.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger says that too. It's like one thing I was reading was like 7 keys to success or whatever, because it's insane. The guy is from Austria, and I don't know if you've seen anybody from Austria. They're not really the biggest guys. So when he told everybody he's gonna be like a bodybuilder, people were like, what the heck are you talking about? And then he did it. I think he's like 8-time Mr. Universe or something like that. Like, he has records for so much things. And one of the things he says is that rules are meant to be broken. He said not laws. Don't break the law, but rules are breaking rules. So if they say no one's been able to ever go from acting to politics, he's like, well, that's when I do it, I'll be the first one to do it. So, it's kind of cool to see that. And now he's been governor of California. It is insane. And I think if it wasn't for Arnold, you wouldn't even have a Trump.
I mean, like, well, disclaimer here, like, I didn't really know too much about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I only know the one line saying, I'll be back.
Yeah. It's insane,
so,
right?
like, when you actually, like, go back and kind of spell out what he did and how he got here over here, like, wow. So, like, this man's had a pretty seasoned life.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. I could imagine Arnold, like, when he was starting to audition for movies, they probably were like, dude, you're, like, super big. Right now, what's in is like your Back to the Future guy. Who's the guy who plays Back to the Future?
Honestly, I don't know.
Oh man, we got. I'm
so bad.
I want to say is Daniel Spade or something, but I guarantee that's not him. I'm horrible with actors and actresses' names, but maybe you can find out. But I could imagine it. Like at that time, the small guys were in. Like the small guys with like it's the first guy.
Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox,
really?
right? Yeah,
okay.
So Michael J. Fox. So like
Marty McFly,
small guy, is gelled hair, cool guy, the everyday guy. That was who was in at that time, And you go through countless of movies where the main actor was that guy, the normal guy. So now you have this overgrown, like, diesel guy with this accent, right? And I could imagine, like, this horrible accent. What country are you even from? You're not Australian. You're not English. What accent is that? You look more like a villain instead of a main character. There's no way you're going to be a name. And listen to that last name. Your last name is Schwarzenegger, whatever it is. There's no way. Imagine seeing a movie title and it says starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nobody's going to know that, man. There's no way you're going to make it in Hollywood. And look how insane his career has been.
True.
He has probably, like you said, your line, I'll be back. Yeah. It's probably the most, I don't know any line in the world that's bigger than that. Ever.
No, that's true. Like, I'm, like, struggling to think about, like, another line.
Yeah, there's no other line. I'll say and his accent's the most famous accent of all time. Everybody wants to say, I'll be back, like you did, right? Everybody wants to say, head to the copper, the chopped up. It's cool, So, I think you're right. Rules are meant to be broken, man. And it's insane to see someone's mindset trump everyone else's mindset. If you're strong here, you'll be strong everywhere.
All right, so like speaking of like being able to do whatever it is that you want to do, and like how you've had a successful business, so we got like the first thing down, which is like finding your passion. How did you actually get your brand started?
As much exposure as possible. I think social media is so amazing now that you can make the world smaller. I think hashtags are like the greatest thing ever invented ever. Like whenever I want to find out what's going on like South Beach, I just put hashtag South Beach and I search and I'll find like makeup artists. I'll find people who's just on a spring break. I'll find people from other countries who are visiting. And before, back then, you never had that. Like you think about our parents' time, you married the people who's in your city, your state. You never knew there's somebody who's gorgeous visiting your state for 1 week. And maybe if you hit off right, they'll move there. Like that would never happen. Now that's like every day. You have like your Tinder, your POF, you have Soul Swipe. You have all this crazy stuff that makes the world smaller. I think we could take advantage of that in business too. And we've seen the last 7-10 years be that way. You've seen all these different platforms like Facebook, Tumblr, all these things come and go and actually expand. So the biggest thing I did was I tried to really get my brand out there. Can I get a following? Can I get people to build curiosity on things? So I used Facebook like insane, where I'll have like things that I think that will appeal to people, where me and my friends having fun, doing weird things. It was never just a bunch of selfies of just me, because that's not building a brand or a business. That's just the Edwin show, which wouldn't make any sense.
I mean, well, some people, they do make like a brand off themselves. Like that's just personal branding itself. I've seen like a lot of beauty influencers where like all you see is selfies, but they're marketing something else that's on their face, whether it be like the makeup or like the clothes that they're wearing on their body. They still find a way to incorporate things that they love using themselves, since ultimately people are buying into you. Isn't that correct?
Oh, 1,000%. But those businesses usually don't last. If you look at, there's going to be a point where people are not attracted to you anymore. There's going to be a point where what you do is not appealing anymore. So you have to find a way to diversify it. And I think the more variety you have, the more exciting it is, which is why a lot of people start off in groups and bands, Justin Timberlake and Sync, because you don't know who people are going to gravitate to, but you give them all these flavors, you'll find one. If Justin Timberlake started off by himself, we probably wouldn't be on him this long, i.e. Beyonce as well, e.g. Beyonce as well. Like, she started with a group. And you're going to see who gravitated to it. They had her, but we don't know if it's going to work. Let's try her first. Let's see if it works. And then when you got the diversity, everybody's attached. They found their favorite person, Kelly Rowland. Some people liked LaToya Luckett, and then you find that. So I think the more diverse you can be, the longer your business will last. So I wish a lot of people who are doing the makeup now and stuff like that, it lasts forever. I hope it really does, but it never does. It never does. Why do artists come and go?
Well, I think what happens is because of social media, it actually presents a bigger problem. Like we're used to more of like that instant gratification. So the reason why like artists are able to come and go and like have a comeback is because they're able to like make some content, go back, live some life, and actually reflect on it before they're able to make something new that everybody else would love. But because we have the internet, and even when it comes to like I guess like being like an influencer, like you have to like upload at a consistent schedule. You have to like basically have more of like that immediate mindset, just in order to stay relevant. So like if you don't stay on social media, then like you're easily forgotten, and that's from like the algorithms as well.
But it's all hustle, right? It's all work hard. No matter if you're behind the camera, in front of the camera, behind the computer, in front of the like wherever you are, you're gonna have to hustle and put your feet to the street. I think what made my brand so successful growing it was I was doing both. So I didn't only stay with the social media and the online platforms and the different website stuff that you could do. I also got out there and I let people meet me. So I'm not just this image on your phone. I'm also in person, and you can shake my hand, you can touch me, I'm real, and I got a really cool personality. So once I got people to buy into me, like we aforementioned, then they're willing to take more risks on me. Now, if you want more funding, more options, more opportunities, you're going to have to bring some stuff to the table. Like if you ever see Shark Tank, they always ask you, well, how much have you sold so far? They don't care what it is. It could be the greatest idea. Like you're rewinding people's health. Hey, you put this cream on your skin, you lose 5 years, and you get 5 years back. You look like you're 25 instead of 30. And it's like even if it works and you can see it happen factually, they still want to know, does it work? Have you got people to buy into it? Have people bought into you? Have they bought it? How much of them have you sold? Oh, you only sold 2? All right, we'll invest 2% into you. And it's like, what? Hold on, no, I need more money. Well, nobody buys it. No, the regular population doesn't like it, so why would we buy it from you? So I think if you want bigger opportunity, bigger funding, bigger options, now you have to bring something to the table. So you have to put that hustle in, and that's what I did. I said, hey, give me 20 of your coupons, 20 of your pizza coupons. I'm gonna get people in your door. Don't pay me anything yet. Pay me off my results. So if I do horrible, if I suck, you didn't lose any money. If I do amazing, we'll come up with a split on, obviously it's going to work in your favor because your product or your service at the end of the day, but I get compensated fairly for what I brought to you. It wouldn't be on the time I did it because time is really irrelevant. You could pay me on my production that I gave to you.
Okay, so like speaking of like putting yourself out there, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people when they're trying to put themselves out there, they think it stops at just the hashtags and just hoping that the right person discovers them. But you're actually talking about going out and meeting people. How do you find these people?
Oh, well, it depends what you're doing, right? So who are you trying to get? I guess that's one of the biggest questions they teach you in marketing class, like in college. When I speak at these universities, I always ask them, what have you learned so far? And the biggest thing is like, we got to find our target market, our niche target market. And I think that's the silliest idea ever. Because if you try to narrow it down to a small group of people who only like rabbits, you're cutting out the people that you can get out to by at least like a third, which is insane. You want to have something that can reach out to the masses. So we know everybody eats food. Some people have allergies, but majority of people eat food, right? They don't drink it. So if I'm coming up with a product that's food, I'm going to do that. I'm going to reach out to everybody. So like if I'm trying to find a way to get my product in front of everybody's eyes, I try to find out who am I trying to get first. I'm going to get to everybody eventually, but who am I trying to get first? And you establish that. Then you find out where those people hang out. Where can you find them? When are they using their time of leisure? So, for example, I met this gentleman who came up to the office, and he was trying to get everybody in the building to use him as a car wash service. And he'll wash your car in the parking lot. He has a van that has all the materials there. Clean your car there, wax it, everything, and then bring everything up. So I could look out the window and I could see this guy washing cars. I'm like, yo, this guy's he works. He's doing it himself. Sometimes he'll bring somebody else to knock out more. But real cool. And he was like, I'm trying to grow my business. I have these business cards, and I just been handing them out.
Well, here's the thing though, like I think when it comes to like business cards and even a website, some people, they have like a business or like a brand that looks like a business. So they have like the business cards, they have the website, they have the social pages, but like they're really not operating or making money.
And that's what my point I was getting to is just that can't be it. You can't just have a website, a Instagram page, Twitter page, and wait for people to find you. So the gentleman was saying to me, he's saying, he does the car washes, and he's like, I just want to grow my business. I have these business cards coming up on my website, Instagram, Twitter. I'm getting more followers, and I'm like, what else? And he's like, what do you mean? What else? That's all you need? I'm like, no, dude. What I would do if I was you, if I can give you advice, and before I give everybody advice, I say, hey, can I give you some advice? He's like, yeah. I said, what I would do is I'd go through all the offices in this building and this whole block, right? And I go to them, I say, hey, we're doing half off specials for everyone's car wash today only. Instead of charging $30, we're going to charge you $15. Full detail inside and out. All the equipment's there. You can actually come and watch it and give us opinions how you want it to be done. I'm doing half off for everybody in this building today. I've given it, I've done so far, suite 216s, and I've done everybody on the third floor so far. And we just wanted to make sure you guys weren't left out of the special as well. And then they'll get more bought into it because now they feel like, wow, other people are doing it. So more of a Jones effect, like keeping up with the Joneses. And then now you built the greed in them because they're like, it's half off today. And you're telling them what the normal price is. They're like, whoa, who doesn't want to bargain, right? And I would do that for everyone. And I'd go door to door. I go business to business. And I do that. And the business card would be, my business card would be after I'm done with my product. So you can refer more people for me. If anybody else needs the service as well, here's my business card. And I make sure I do the best job ever. Because I'm probably going to go right back to the pricing of $30 now. But guess what? They knew that they had half off before. So they're willing to pay that $30 now because the first one I looked out for them on. And we could develop a partnership and a relationship. And I go on and on and on. And you can tell me about your cousin who needs the same service. And I told him to do that. And he said, okay. I don't know if the guy's done it. I don't know if he's done it yet. But that's just how business works. Is how many people can you speak to? How many people can you show them that you're doing them a favor? And can you deliver on that promise and that favor? Do it. Do they like the quality? Can you get some feedback? Did it work? Did they not like? What did they like about it? What did they not like about it? And can they refer at least 5 people for you? 2 of those, and then you can start this chain of reaction. Your business grows. But a lot of people want to sit behind their computers and tweet.
Okay, but going back to, I guess, like the car wash guy, right? So you're able to talk to these people and be like, okay, I'm able to give you this, like half off. I've seen it with like photographers as well, where they're like, oh, like I'll give you my rates for like dirt cheap. Mm. The only thing is, like, I notice that sometimes there's like that discrepancy between like the price and what they're actually able to deliver for the price that you're getting at. So like, how do you build, I guess, that initial trust for that person to trust you with, like, I guess, like their Corvette or like, like their special moment or something like that? Give them bone. Like
the example I just mentioned it was half off the first one. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to charge you $300 for your photo shoot the first time because you don't know what work I can do. You've seen some of my pictures on Instagram, but you don't know how you're going to look on it. So I got to do you a favor first. Or once I do you the favor first and people love you, they love the work I did, and maybe I did it for free, maybe I did it for $5, Once I do it one time, now you're part of my team. You love it. And you're like, oh my gosh, he hooked me up, It's supposed to be $300, but he looked at me the first time. The great thing, and I tell him, hey, don't mention it to anybody else. I'm doing a favor for you. So when they go tell other people about it, they're like, okay, I see the value. I see what they did for you. You look amazing in this. You usually look fat in all your pictures. This is the first photographer I see make you look skinny. So like, oh my gosh, can I use him too? How much did he cost? If he kept doing work like that, it's worth every penny.
Okay, so like even then you said like, okay, well, I've seen like your work on Instagram. So the first thing you have to do is put yourself out there. So like I guess like as far as like the car wash guy, is he able to like show like, hey, here's a car washed before.
Crazy thing is that's not even necessary. You could just say I do car washes. That's it. Really? That's it. You don't even need to put any of that stuff out to get started. It's like, hey, I do car washes. I do marketing. I do photography. People, natural curiosity is going to ask them, hey, can you do it for me? And if I get one or two people, figure out the law of average. If I get one or two people...
Well, what is the law of averages?
Well, usually it's a system you use to get the results you want. So essentially, if I do 70 phone calls to get leads for my photography business, 2 people ended up saying, all right, cool, I'll check it out. So it means my law of average is 2 out of 60, which is really 1 out of 30, right? Once you figure out what's your pattern, now you know what your work ethic has to be. So if I'm only getting 1 out of 30, that means if I want 5 customers this week, I'm probably going to have to do 150, if that makes sense.
Or reach out to 150 people.
Just to get those people.
Okay.
So you got to understand, you got to try. Again, it's a hustle. You got to figure it out first. Once you figure it out, you'll know what the work ethic you got to do every week, every day to make sure that your business thrives and you're very successful.
Okay, so I know for like a lot of people, like I guess like they have like a lot of uncertainty, especially when like they're managing like a business or I guess their own self. Like how do you deal with that? Is that something that like prevents you from like taking bigger steps?
1,000%.
Yeah.
100%. I think if you don't have the right driver behind the car, do you get in accidents? Yeah. So it really depends who's navigating the vehicle. So you got to develop yourself. Business is developing you. If you can't develop yourself, your business won't develop. So you got to know what your weakness is. Are you somebody who's not punctual? What can we do to make you punctual? Are you bad with names? How can you remember names better? Should you start when you meet somebody, hey, I'm Edwin, what's your name?
Jade.
Jade. Do you have to say 17 times so you know that her name is Jade now? If you wake up late, can you put your alarm clock away from your bed? So you're forced to get up and turn off the alarm. And now you're up, you're like, I might as well go to the bathroom now, right? Can you put it away? And can it be the most obnoxious sound? And how can you figure out yourself? Once you can figure out yourself, that's when you can start helping other people figure out themselves. That's when you can help out other people's businesses and figure out their business. But you got to know you. And you got to do different things to correct all your weak points. Like with myself, I sucked at understanding why people didn't see things the way I see it. I've been raised in a culture where as soon as you come in, I'm Haitian, so as soon as you come in, you're supposed, even if it's a stranger, they're sitting in your home, you come, you hug, you kiss them on the cheek. Right? If it's a guy, you shake their hands, no matter who they are. Even if they're police in your house, you got to come do that. Like, that's how I was raised. I was raised that the word, like, I don't know if I curse it here, ass, or the word, like, shit, was a curse word. So, like, when I went to college and my professors were saying, it's like, well, I got to switch out this class, because it was like that. So, once you figure out what your mind functions and you can figure out how other people, majority at least, function, that those words are not curse words to them, you'll know how to cater things to people. So I think the biggest thing is figure out yourself first. So figure out your weaknesses, attack it with aggressiveness. And you probably develop your business a lot better. So develop you.
All right. And like I understand that, like, especially when you're doing something like this or pursuing anything that I would say amount to like what we perceive as wealth or successful, a lot of people think it's lonely and then they lose like motivation along the way. How do you stay motivated? Well,
you got to realize what your goal again is. What's the goal? Usually people follow 5 F's they're looking for. It's usually fame, which I think everybody wants nowadays. Fortune, which is everybody needs, I believe. Family, freedom, and is what you're doing fun, right? So those are 5 F's you're looking for in your career, longevity-wise. So figure out which of those mean more important to you. Make them in order in your priority list, all right? And then when you find that out, that's going to come up with the actions that you need to do. So with myself, I don't really care too much about the fame. The fortune that I want to amass is for the people I love, for they could pursue their dreams. They could open up their music studios, their own t-shirt companies, pay for the tuitions of people at university that's in my family who don't have the scholarships. So my goals and what I do day to day is driven by what I want to accomplish for people. I just feel like a lot of people have average goals. If you could strive for something bigger, that's bigger than yourself, they'll get you up at 4:00 in the morning. You'll have nights where you don't sleep, because your goals are that important to you. So I think for them to figure out like how to move forward, you got to figure out what you want.
Okay, so like say, what if like what you want is actually what somebody does not want for you? Or like
mommy and dad?
Yeah, or
wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, pet snake.
Yeah, you get it.
I think again, you gotta. It's a selfish moment. You gotta figure out what you want, because at the end of the day, and I always ask people that question. Like when mommy and daddy doesn't want them to pursue a certain degree or a certain job, I tell them, hey, do you want mommy and daddy's life? Do you want to have the earnings that your mom has? Do you want to have the earnings your dad has? Do you want to have the freedom they have? If you don't want their fortune, their career, then I probably wouldn't take career advice for them. It's just like dating. I'm pretty sure, like you date, right? I'm pretty sure you don't ask your mom about every boyfriend. Like, hey, I'm thinking about sliding in this guy's DMs. What do you think about him first, mom? Like, you don't do none of that stuff, right? So why do we take it when you start a career? Those are both things that matter in our life.
I guess it kind of like goes in with the saying of like ask for forgiveness, not for permission. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So do things first and then apologize after.
Yeah. So like if it's something that I didn't like agree with, at least I tried it first before you discouraged me from even trying it.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things I've done, like even in going in business for yourself, it's the cool thing now. Entrepreneur, the word is like so cool. So everybody wants to work for themselves now, freedom, be a millionaire and all that cool stuff. But I don't think everyone knows the expectations that's behind it. So our families will discourage us to do our own thing, but they'll tell us to join other people's things who've done it. So like, hey, go work for Publix. No offense to anybody who works for Publix. Go work for Publix, because somebody had the bigger vision and created Publix as an entrepreneurship and now can employ everybody. So go work for somebody else who's done it.
Or basically one of those, get one of those desk jobs or get something that pays hourly.
Exactly, because someone has figured it out already and their business is working, but you can't figure it out. So I don't want you to figure out, I don't want you to be the person who owns Publix. I want you to be the person who works for Publix 20 years, retires, and you make $700 a month on retirement. So yeah, I think the battle of employee versus entrepreneurship is something that's been around forever. You have those who are creators, and you have people who work for the creators. So not everyone is a creator, but everyone can be. But it really depends on the mentality behind their mindset of what they want out of life. If your goal is to make, $800 a week, $40K a year, live in a nice home, 2 kids, and you don't want more of that, cool, definitely go work for somebody else. But if your goal is to have a little more freedom, work when you want to work, get paid on your performance, not on your time, then it's probably you're gonna have to use your creative side to figure out something you can lead other people and offer people the opportunity. I think Robert Kiyosaki talks about it in Rich Dad Poor Dad. He says the wealthy people versus the poor people, and he means like poor as in like freedom, opportunities, choices, standards of living, like that, not just U.S. currency or money. He says that poor people learn how to apply for jobs, like how to fill out a resume the right way, how to sit down straight in the interview, shake their hands with the eye contact, firm grist, ask for the job before you leave. They teach them that. Wealthy people teach their children how to create a job, how to create the blueprint, how to entice people to want to work with your brand, which was mind-boggling. I was like, wow, that's how I was raised. I've been working since I was 12, and there's always the right way to speak, smile, use your eyebrows, not use defensive body language. Like, I learned that, and I was like, wow, that's insane to me. So you're always going to have that battle.
Okay, so you mentioned something that was pretty interesting as far as getting paid based off of your performance versus your time. I wanted to, hear a little bit more about your thoughts on this, especially because, I guess a lot of people are struggling with, that work-life balance. Mm-hmm. And so, I understand that in some aspects, work may, bleed over into, personal time as well. How do you balance that? And, what are boundaries? How do you set those boundaries so that you can still live, a holistic life?
I think it's still in your mindset again. No matter what you want to do, if you really want those goals, you got to understand there's going to be about a couple of years where you don't have a work-life balance. It's just not going to happen. You can try to squeeze it in, work hard, play hard, but it's not going to be every Friday you can go out for drinks, every Saturday you go to the same club. You're not going to have that lifestyle if you're not going to have the lifestyle you want and dream for if you keep up those day-to-day responsibilities. One of my partners say that he's in Miami. He's from England. He's played professional football or soccer, we call it in America. And he says that you can't expect a millionaire wage off of a minimum wage work ethic. So if you're doing what minimum wage people do, which is party every single day, go to the same gym every time, eat the same foods every time, and you do the same exact schedule every single day, that work-life balance that people want, you're never going to get the life you want to have. All right? So you got to understand in your mindset, there's going to be a couple years where you don't have that. And if you're willing to sacrifice a couple years for the rest of your life, you're going to know what action you do. But if you don't want to give up those parties, that sleep, those drinks, right now at least, you don't ever have to give it up, but you won't ever have the life you want.
Well, I also know that a lot of people, they have that saying of like wanting to live in the moment, or like that fear of saying like, hey, I'm going to work hard for this amount of years so that like I could provide for like my kids, and then like when my kids go away for college, then I'm gonna travel the world. But like the biggest fear is like I don't want to be like 80, have all of this money saved up and not be able to enjoy it because like I don't know, I'm too old to fly, or my health itself is failing me. Like how like I would want to be able to like live more presently so that I can still enjoy the present instead of necessarily calling it a sacrifice.
Well, 1,000%. If you want to live in your present, you have to have the money, right?
Yeah.
So how are you gonna get the money? You can't live in the present to get the money. So I think you're right. It's like carpe diem, YOLO. You only live once. Tomorrow's not promised. You know, I could wake up and that's cool. You can live that way. But the most successful people plan out their weeks. I know people with 30-year goals. Like 30-year goals.
Really?
That's insane to me. I thought I was smart in college planning out my week. I had my planner, planning out the semester. There's people with like 30-year goals.
I mean, I don't even know what I want for dinner today. You're telling me about 30 years?
It's insane. But this is how the wealthy think. This is how people who are successful at business think. They plan out their quarters. They plan out their months. They know what scholarships they're going to give out next quarter. They know what grants they're going to write for different businesses and people and charities like next year already. So if you're living in the moment, there's going to be a time in your moment it's not favorable and you're still living there. It's not going to work into your benefit. But if you could not live in the moment just for a little bit, maybe 2 years, you'll be there. And then you won't be that 80-year-old lady still now finally have money. Now you can live life. Because that's how it's designed for. It's designed for us to retire. It used to be 56. Now the average age for retirement, if it's going to be that time by the time you get to of that age, is 67.
That's wild to me.
Which is crazy because our lives are not supposed like. If you look at any religious thing, we're promised like I think like 4 scores and whatever. So that's supposed to be the age where we're starting to die. So it's like work till you die. It was like what? No.
I mean, like, that's kind of morbid. Not
is.
Lie.
But my goal is to enjoy life, but I'll sacrifice a year, you know, so I can have 20. I'm with that. I like that deal. I don't want to work 20 years and have. Now I finally have that Corvette. Now I finally have the freedom, but guess what? I can't drive the Corvette because my body can't handle getting in and out of it. Or I can't explore, I can't go kayaking, or I can't go ziplining because my body can't handle it. So I want to make my money now or in 2 years from now and enjoy it while I'm 30 versus make all this money working for somebody else, their assistant, legal assistant, paralegal, whatever, 20 years, and now I can enjoy my money at 60 or something like that. You know, so it depends what you want in life again.
Okay, well, that's pretty amazing. You've said some pretty insightful stuff as well. I'm really glad that the listeners who are still here, that you're still tuned in. This kind of wraps up the episode, but what we want you to do is like either thumbs up,
do both.
subscribe.
No,
yeah,
do both.
Leave us some comments. I want to know what you think. Do you agree with like what we're talking about? Do you disagree? We want to have a conversation in the comments below, and then next week's episode, then we'll be able to pick up where we left off.
And definitely, you can submit subjects that you want us to cover as well, our perspective on things. You come up with your tips and tap. If you're in a business that's grossing in a lot of money or helping out a lot of people too, we want to hear from you too, obviously, and we're excited about that. So definitely it's going to be the first of many, and we want to see you guys. Remember, click like, subscribe, comment, share it to somebody else, and we're going to see you on the next time.
See you next week.
Peace.